The slap cracked through the bright dining room so sharply that even the piano seemed to stop. A silver tray spun from the waitress's hand, sending food and porcelain across the marble floor. 23-year-old Tessa Monroe swayed between two crutches, her injured leg trembling, while the woman in the red dress stood over her with her palm still raised. Across the restaurant, billionaire Julian Mercer froze. The woman who had struck the injured waitress was his wife, Vanessa, and what he did next left every guest speechless. If you believe kindness matters most when someone has nothing to offer us in return, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Loyal Hearts, and tell us where you're watching from today, because compassion can travel farther than cruelty ever will. Tessa had returned to work only 12 days after a serious car accident. Her doctor wanted her home for another month, but recovery did not pay rent, electricity, or the rehabilitation bills beside her bed. She lived with her widowed grandfather, and her restaurant wages kept their small apartment afloat. That afternoon, Julian and Vanessa Mercer arrived at Bellamy House for a charity luncheon. Vanessa had become obsessed with appearances, measuring people by labels and usefulness. Julian had begun noticing how cold she could be when cameras were gone, but he was not prepared for what happened when Tessa approached their table. The restaurant was packed, and a server had called in sick. Tessa volunteered to cover one more table. As she reached Vanessa's chair, another guest stepped backward without looking. Tessa twisted to avoid him. Pain shot through her healing leg and her crutch slipped. She saved the tray, but a spoonful of sauce landed on Vanessa's handbag. Tessa immediately apologized and reached for a napkin. Vanessa's face hardened. She demanded the manager, mocked Tessa for working injured, and accused the restaurant of lowering its standards. Tessa's cheeks burned, but she kept apologizing. She even offered to pay for professional cleaning, although it could consume most of a week's wages. Vanessa stood and told her that people like her should know when they were not fit to serve important guests. Tessa tried to step back, but her crutch caught against the table base. Then, before anyone could intervene, Vanessa slapped her across the face. For one stunned second, Tessa did not move. Her eyes filled with tears, not only from pain but humiliation. She had survived twisted metal, physical therapy, and the fear that she might never walk normally again. Yet in front of a room full of strangers, she suddenly felt smaller than she had in the ambulance. The tray fell, food scattered, and one crutch clattered sideways as another server caught her arm. Julian crossed the room in silence. Vanessa turned toward him, certain he would defend her. Instead, Julian picked up Tessa's crutch, wiped its handle with his handkerchief, and carefully placed it beneath her arm. He asked if she needed a doctor. Tessa whispered that she was fine. Julian looked at the red mark on her cheek, then at his wife, and the shock on his face became disappointment. Vanessa insisted the waitress had embarrassed her and ruined an expensive bag. Julian examined the tiny stain and placed the handbag beside the broken plate. Then he calmly said their marriage was over. No shouting, no performance, only quiet certainty. He told Vanessa he could replace a handbag before dinner, but he could not replace the part of himself he would lose if he stayed beside someone who believed money gave her permission to humiliate an injured worker. What happened next shocked the guests even more. Julian knelt on the marble floor and began gathering the broken porcelain himself. A billionaire in a tailored suit cleaned spilled food while waiters stared. He apologized to Tessa. She said he did not owe her an apology, but Julian answered that people with power had a responsibility when cruelty happened in front of them, and they could stop it. Vanessa left beneath a storm of whispers. Julian stayed. When he learned why Tessa had returned so soon, his anger softened. Her insurance had refused to cover several weeks of rehabilitation, and she was working because she feared losing the apartment she shared with her grandfather. Tessa made one thing clear: she did not want charity. She wanted a chance to earn stability without ruining her recovery. 2 days later, Bellamy House received a call from the Mercer Foundation. Julian was creating a paid 6-month hospitality training fellowship for employees recovering from serious injuries. Participants could work reduced physical hours while learning management and restaurant operations. Tessa would be the first candidate if she wanted it, and the program would remain for others after she moved on. She accepted. For the first time since the crash, someone had looked at her limitations and seen potential instead of inconvenience. Over the following months, Tessa moved from crutches to a cane, then finally completed her first shift without either. More importantly, she became the person employees went to when they were injured or ashamed to ask for help. Julian kept his promise about the marriage. He did not launch a revenge campaign or try to destroy Vanessa publicly. He simply refused to return to the life they had shared. Walking away cost him friendships and years of memories. But staying would have cost something more important: the ability to respect the man he saw in the mirror. A year later, Tessa stood in the same dining room at Bellamy House wearing the dark suit of an assistant manager. Near the entrance hung a plaque for the Hospitality Recovery Fellowship, now supporting injured workers across the city. Tessa touched its edge and remembered the shattered plate, the humiliation, and the man who had chosen to kneel instead of look away. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who believes dignity should never depend on wealth, and subscribe to Loyal Hearts. Your support helps stories of compassion reach someone who may need them. Before the ending, please comment, "Kindness is true class," if you believe respect should be given to everyone, no matter their job, clothes, money, or circumstances. Tessa once believed the slap was the worst moment of her life. Later, she understood it was also the moment everything changed. One person chose cruelty because she believed status protected her. Another chose courage because he understood status created responsibility. Tessa made the hardest choice of all. She refused to let humiliation become her identity. She healed, she rose, and then held the door open for others still struggling to stand. Sometimes the most unthinkable thing a powerful person can do is simply kneel beside the person everyone else is looking down on, and remind them they were never beneath anyone at all.